the 2nd of July, Jupiter, Thursday morning, 2020 or 2026, Common Era, 2569, Buddhist Era. Today we are going to do the Tikamātikā. This is the matrix from the abstract teachings. This is the teaching on triplets, or the triple matrix. And previously, the last couple days, I've covered the Mātikā, and this is recited during funerals. So the significance of this is vast. One of the reasons why Theravadas, the way of the elders, adopted reciting this during funerals is because the Tathāgata, the Lord Buddha, was said to teach this to his mother, Mahamaya Devi. And so it was passed on. So this is one of the teachings that he teaches to his own birth mother, Mahamaya Devi. This is from the Tikamātikā, and it's then afterwards what we were talking about. We started on the first chapter on the 8 sensuous wholesome thoughts. But now I'm going to do this in Pali language, which is what is recited, and then I'll have the English translation. Again, in the description, I will cite the website, so those who like to investigate or ponder for themselves, I welcome you guys to. We always start off with the homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the perfectly self-awakening one. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the perfectly self-awakening one. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the perfectly self-awakening one. The Tikamātikā. Kusala dhamma, akusala dhamma, apayakata dhamma, sukhaya vedanaya sampayuta dhamma, dukhaya vedanaya sampayuta dhamma. Adukam asukhaya vedanaya sampayuta dhamma, vipaka dhamma, avipaka dhamma, dhamma, neva vipaka na vipaka dhamma, dhamma. Upadinupadaniya dhamma, anupadinupadaniya dhamma, anupadinupadaniya dhamma, sankilesika samkilesika dhamma. Asankilesika sankilesika dhamma, asankilesa sankilesika dhamma, savichaka savichara dhamma, avidaka vichara matha dhamma, avidaka vichara dhamma, piti sahachata dhamma, sukha sahachata dhamma, upeka sahachata dhamma, dasanena pahata padhamma. Pavanaya pahata padhamma, neva dasanena na pavanaya pahata padhamma. Dasanena pahata pahetuka dhamma, pavanaya pahata pahetuka dhamma, neva dasanena na pavanaya pahata pahetuka dukkha dhamma. Ajayagamino dhamma, apajayagamino dhamma, neva pajayagamino, na pajayagamino dhamma. Sekha dhamma, asekha dhamma, neva sekha na sekha dhamma, parita dhamma, mahakata dhamma, apamana dhamma, paritaramana dhamma, mahakataramana dhamma, apamanaramana dhamma. Hina dhamma, matsima dhamma, parita dhamma, micataniyata dhamma, samataniyata dhamma, aniyata dhamma, maharamana dhamma, mahahituka dhamma, maka atipatino dhamma, upana dhamma, anupana dhamma, upatino dhamma, atita dhamma, anakata dhamma, pachupana dhamma, atitaramana dhamma, anakata ramana dhamma, pachupana ramana dhamma, acata dhamma, parita dhamma, acata parita dhamma. Acata ramana dhamma, parita ramana dhamma, acata parita ramana dhamma, sanita tasa sampatika dhamma, anita tata sampatika dhamma, anita tata sampatika dhamma. Tikamātikā. Now, we're going to translate it into English, what we just recited. Wholesome thoughts, unwholesome thoughts, thoughts without consequences, thoughts connected with pleasant feeling, thoughts connected with painful feeling, thoughts connected with neither painful nor pleasant feeling, thoughts with results, thoughts that have results as its nature, thoughts that are neither resultant or have resultant nature, thoughts that are attached to and favorable to attachment, thoughts that are not attached to but are favorable to attachment, thoughts that are not attached to and are not favorable to attachment, thoughts that are defiled and connected with defilement, thoughts that are not defiled but are connected with defilements, thoughts that are not defiled and not connected with defilements, thoughts that are with thinking and reflection, thoughts that are without thinking but have reflection alone, thoughts that are without thinking and without reflection, thoughts that are united with joyful interest, thoughts that are united with pleasure, thoughts that are united with equanimity, thoughts that are to be given up through vision of the first path, thoughts that are to be given up through development of the rest of the paths, thoughts that have to be given up neither through vision of the first path nor through the development of the rest of the other paths. Thoughts that have roots or the beginning that are to be given up through vision of the first path. Thoughts that have root or their beginning that are to be given up through the development of the rest of the paths. Thoughts that have roots that are neither to be given up through vision of the first nor through the development of the rest of the other paths. Thoughts that go towards increase. Thoughts that go towards decrease. Thoughts that go towards neither decrease nor increase. Those who are in training. Those no longer in training. Those neither in training nor longer in training. Thoughts that are limited. Thoughts that are very great. Thoughts that are immeasurable, thoughts that are limited sense objects, thoughts that are very great sense objects, thoughts that are immeasurable sense objects, thoughts that are inferior, thoughts that are middling, thoughts that are excellent, thoughts that are wrongful and have a fixed destiny, thoughts that are righteous and have a fixed destiny, thoughts that do not have a fixed destiny, thoughts that have the path as their own objects, thoughts that have the path as their roots, thoughts that have their path as their predominant factor, thoughts that have arisen, thoughts that have not yet arisen, thoughts that are arising, thoughts that are in the past, thoughts that are in the future, thoughts that are in the present, thoughts that are past objects, thoughts that are in the future objects, thoughts that are present objects, thoughts that are his own, thoughts that are of another, thoughts that are his own and others, thoughts that are internal objects, thoughts that are external objects, thoughts that are internal and external objects, thoughts that are visible and have impingement, thoughts that are not visible or visible and have impingement, thoughts that are not visible and do not have impingement. This is the triplet matrix. And as we go forward, we go hetu pachayo, aramana pachayo, ati pati pachayo, anantara pachayo, samanantara pachayo, sahaja jata pachayo, annamana pachayo, nisaya pachayo, upanisaya pachayo, purijata pachayo, pachajata pachayo, asevana pachayo, kama pachayo, vipaka pachayo, arahara pachayo, indariya pachayo, jana pachayo, maga pachayo, sampayuta pachayo, vipayuta pachayo, ati pachayo, nati pachayo, vigata pachayo, te. Now this is from Tikamātikā pata. This is the passes on the matrix of the patana, or what is cultivated. So in English, root condition, the object as its condition, predominance as its condition, proximity as its condition, contingency as condition, connaissance as its condition, mutuality as its condition, support as its condition, decisive support as condition, prenascence as condition, postnascence as condition, frequency as condition, karma condition, resultant condition, nutriment condition, faculty condition, absorption condition, path condition, association condition, disassociation condition, present condition, absence condition, disappearance condition, non-disappearance condition. And then we move to going into the deity starts crying, or supplement from different heavenly realms. Bhumanam devanam satam sutawa saku maharatika deva satam anusamvesam. Saku maharajikanam devanam satam sutawa dawa dimsa deva satam anusamvesam. Dawa dimsanam devanam satam sutawa yama deva satam anusamvesam. Yamanam devanam satam sutawa Tusita deva satam anusamvesam, tutisanam devanam satam sutawa, nimmarati deva satam anusamvesam. Nimmarati nam devanam satam sutawa, parinitmitava santi deva satam anusamvesam. Paranimitava savitina nam devanam satam sutawa, brahma kaya ka deva satam anusamvesam. Brahma parijaja deva satam anusamvesam. Brahma parijajanam deva satam deva sutawa. Brahma paritata deva satam anusamvesam. Brahma Parijathanam Devanam Satam Sutava Maha Brahma Deva Satam Anusamvesam Maha Brahmanam Devanam Satam Sutava Paritapa Deva Satam Anusamvesam Paritaphanam Devanam Satam Sutava Apamanapa Deva Satam Anusamvesam Apamana Bhanam Deva Nam Satam Sutava Apasara Deva Satam Anusamvesam Apasara Nam Deva Nam Satam Sutava Parita Supha Deva Satam Anusamvesam Parita Supha Nam Deva Nam Satam Sutava Apapama Supha Deva Satam Anusamvesam Apamana Suphanam Devanam Satam Sutava Supakinaka Deva Satam Anusamvesam Supakinaka Devanam Satam Sutava Vipa Deva Satam Anusamvesam Vipahala Deva Satam Anusamvesam Vipahala Nam Devanam Satam Sutava Aviha Deva Satam Anusamvesam Avihanam Devanam Satam Sutava Atapa Deva Satam Anusamvesam Atapanam Devanam Satam Sutava Sutasa Devanam Satam Sutta Anusamvesam Sutasan Sanam Devanam Satam Sutava Sutasi Deva Satam Anusamvesam Sutasinam Devanam Satam Sutava Atikinaka Deva Satam Anusamvesam. Translated into English. On hearing the earth deities cry, the deities of the heavens of the four kings took up the cry or their supplication. On hearing the cry of the deities of the heavens of the four kings, the deities of the heavens of the 33 took up their supplication. On hearing the deities cry on the heavens of the 33, the Yama deities took up their supplication. Praprayayom. On hearing the cry of the Yama deities, Praprayayom, the Tusita deities took up their supplication. On hearing the cry of the Tutista deities, the Nimarati deities took up their supplication. On hearing the crying of the Nimarati deities, the Paramita Vasavati deities took up their supplication. On hearing the cry of the Paramitra Vasanti Devis, the deities of the Brahma retinues took up their supplication. The Brahma Parasacha deities took up their supplication. On hearing the cry of the Brahma Parachita deities, the Brahma Parahita deities took up their supplication. On hearing the crying of the Brahma Parita deities, the Mahabrahma deities took up their supplication. On hearing the Mahabrahma deities, the Apa deities took up their supplication. On hearing the cry of the Paratapa deities, the Apamanapapa deities took up their supplication. On hearing the crying of the Apamanapa deities, the Apsara deities took up their supplication. On hearing the crying of the Apsara deities, the Parasupa deities took up their supplication. On hearing the crying of the Parasupa deities, the Apamana Supa deities took up their supplication. On hearing the crying of the Apamana Supa deities, the Supakinaka deities took up their supplication. On hearing the crying of the Supakinaka deities, the Vipaha deities took up their supplications. On hearing the crying of the Vipala deities, the Avihat deities took up their supplication. On hearing the crying of the Vivaha deities, the Attapa deities took up their supplication. On hearing the crying of the Attapa deities, the Sutisa deities took up their supplication. On hearing the crying of the Sutasa deities, the Sutisi deities took up their supplications. On hearing the crying of the Sutisi deities, the Tikamātikā deities took up their supplications. Now, this is what different groups of ascetics or monks that recite certain formulas in funerals. This is sometimes supplemented in there. But this last verse from the first sermon of the Buddha, the Tikamātikā Sutra. And it was the will of the Dharma. And it's putting the will in motion, basically. And the hearing the cry of the deities verse was cited at Varanasi in the game refuge in Isapatana in ancient India, Bharat. So, again, I will cite that for the triplet matrix and the recitation of, for funerals. I want to leave you off there. This last 4 days, I ventured off from my reading from the common Buddhist texts, guidance and insight from the Buddha, just to share this funeral recitation and what the meaning is. May you be well. Arahang sama samputo pakawa putang pakawantang apiwatimi. Sawakato pakawata tammo tammang namasami. Supatipano pakavato sawakasangko sangkhang namami.